recording. Yep.
All right. So, what do we want to do today?
So I wanted to look at Svelte Kit and try and understand what exactly is going on there. And I tried to do it before I tried just regular Svelte, and I think I was telling you this, but I can't figure out where the entry point is for the application, which is a bit strange. I wouldn't think that would be a problem. One thing that I found that maybe would be good for us to look at or something on if you go to Svelte's Twitter, actually the guy who wrote this is a guy named Richard Harris, I think. I really like this guy. I think he wrote an article a while back called "In Defense of the Modern Web," where he was sort of like pushing back against people who were arguing for like we need to go back to simpler things. Like remember that guy Rich Harris? Yeah, follow him. He's a good guy to follow. He's also he's like the visual editor, or does the visualization stuff for New York Times, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like his day job. So he wrote Svelte. So but he had something. Can you go to his profile? I thought this was cool. You're too lazy to do npm init svelte next. So click on that thing node.new slash svelte kit svelte kit, that one. Yeah, you can do that too. It's the same thing, I think.
I think they are different.
Maybe. It's like this thing Stack Blitz.
Okay.
I think it's the same. I think they give you your own instance, each one.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's an easy way for us to quickly take a look at the folder structure. But I don't know. Maybe we want to just do npm init svelte kit next.
No, I think this is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So the source folder. So this is some sort of Visual Studio Code in the web or something.
Yeah. Let's just skip this. This is not. I don't want to We should probably don't want to make it about this, but yeah, essentially.
Okay.
I wonder if we could actually have people use this to code with Griptape. I don't see why not, right?
Yeah.
Like we could have a Griptape starter that you would just type in an address like that, and it would be all ready to go.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh, we should do that another time. Maybe we'll do that next. But so this is SvelteKit 1.0.0 next.25, right? That's the version. And I think he said I see at the bottom, yeah.
Let me see here. What's going on?
Okay, cool.
SvelteKit. Okay. So is this supposed to well,
Anyway, we could go to the SvelteKit page and you could take a look at it there, see what it says.
okay, so let me see. Okay. So it's on development. High performance web apps. Okay. Well, yep. At the heart of SvelteKit is a file system based router. So this is similar to Gritsum, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You can have endpoints. Okay. Layouts. Yeah, what I'm thinking, well, let's try and run something, right? So I think the best way to learn something. Wow. Um, so
This is what I was saying before. So when you type npm init svelte at next and then do my svelte at, like you don't need to install a svelte CLI. That's what I was asking about with the why you need the view CLI.
um hmm. I see what you're saying. I think there are different
Maybe this
things.
is a CLI actually, the
Yeah,
svelte.next that you're just getting it from npm. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
SvelteKit demo app.
Yeah, let's just do that. We can see it. Might as well do TypeScript.
Then okay. Okay. Now let's open up. Uh, okay, so app.html hooks routes live. I think is index.svelte counter.
It's interesting. They're using those the reactive values thing at the top there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that looks good. Now, the idea would be to see how to integrate.
Well, maybe you can tell me first. Is there any point in using this?
I think this is somewhat, this is kind of a tool for SEO performant applications.
Okay.
So I think let's say that is the difference between Vue and Gritsum.
Or
I think this is a
React and
Gritsum.
Next.js.
Exactly. Yeah, this is the Next.js of Svelte.
Right.
It handles server-side rendering. It handles, I think, the routing mechanism.
Right, which was one of the things that I worried about Svelte. There's not the equivalent of Vue router.
Mm. Yeah, so I think the main difference as this is more of a server-side rendered. You'll create a server-side rendered application
Mm-hmm.
rather than build a single-page application. Single page app. But it's really interesting. I mean,
Can you point to where the entry point of the app is though? That was what I was struggling with. Okay, so here we have.
I don't think there's such an entry point. What I'm thinking is that there you can configure different. Let me take a look. There was another Vue framework. How's it called? That is pretty popular. The Pina.
Nuxt.
Yeah, nice, exactly that one. So
Oh, they have Vue 3 version of it now.
yeah, there's something interesting about how to use this because when you want to integrate a particular third party, this one, the plugins directory contains your JavaScript plugins that you want to run before instantiating the root Vue.js application. Nux plugins.
So they have basically you're saying we can't see it in the folder structure. Maybe. I don't know if that's right.
Exactly, but there will be some sort of configuration file that will enable you to configure certain things in your app. And one of those could be running code that you want to run before the application gets instantiated or something.
I see. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around or get an understanding of how it all fits within the yeah, just so if I were to write this from scratch, it's something
You
it has
mean
its own, maybe it has its own server. It's or SvelteKit dev, what does that do? That does yarn dev, right?
yeah.
But it must I guess you know what I'm saying. Usually an application, in PHP, you used to have it's a htaccess file, where you could control what the first file that it would load would be.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering what's going on there. Like, how
Oh
does it?
well, okay. Well, I think that the first thing that we need to understand is that when you don't actually serve these files, as they are on the source folder. So this is just the way that this is a structure for how to uh how to manage the files for the site.
Okay,
But in general, what's get rendered here is a compiled version of this. So you get all of the source folder converted to something else, and then that's what is rendered here.
right.
So at the end, this all gets converted into.
Oh, I see. And because you're using SvelteKit, it's using its own compiling mechanism that takes care of all of that.
Exactly, and you'll have at the end an index.html file or as many HTML files, and when you access to that file, you just get whatever is in that file, on that compiled file. So what I think is doing is, okay, if you have 3 pages, it will compile each page individually, and you will have a home HTML or index HTML and about HTML and a to-dos HTML files.
Got it. Okay.
That was cool. Okay, so the part that I would like to be interested is what if I want to use, for example, Axios or any other client or some sort of client to make requests to a server or something else. How do I integrate that into this? That will be one question. The other question that I have is, they have some sort of endpoint based API endpoints, which I wonder if what you can do with this is to generate your own endpoints and then like this. Okay. From external APIs. Yeah, so comparing it to Gritsum, in Gritsum you can plug in data from servers
Right.
and store them in a
Right. In like a GraphQL database or a data
yeah,
structure that's accessible through GraphQL.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So in this case, you don't do that, but you are able to create your custom endpoints so you can request data to those
Oh, I see what you're saying.
endpoints.
So basically, it would go out, grab a bunch of information, and then it would store that information so that and then in your application you would access that information, but you would be accessing it from a locally stored thing, and you're just defining what the endpoint will be to
Yeah,
request to
exactly.
get that. Uh, that's
Yeah, so
interesting.
this is an example of that. So let's say that you have a DB object that you can send queries, or
Yeah.
so you can, for example, here get the information, and this will create an endpoint. So then in your application, you fetch. There should be some sort of fetch function that you can use or get or whatever,
Yeah, it
so
says
you
that it's
can
access to
access this
fetch in case you need
information.
to request data from external APIs. I see.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know why you would do this if you have a server already. If I have a server that returns an article, why do I need to do it through this layer? Maybe that's my question. Method overrides. Loading, okay. Modules. Adapters. I think this is... I don't know. No. Page option. Router. Hydrate. Contains a block side example. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Luis, I'll be right back, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Yo. Well, anyway, I mean, maybe it's like it doesn't make sense for our use case.
Yeah, I mean, the use case will be if you want to have a page or an application in which you care a lot about
Sorry
the
if you can hear me.
CEO.
I'm trying to get my audio working. Luis?
Hey,
Hey.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that I think the use case is if you want your application to be SEO performant, you know?
Mm-hmm. So
And
more
if you want to
content.
do that,
So like more content-based websites.
yeah, exactly. Or applications like a blog. That's an application, but that has a lot of content. You know, that is a
Yeah.
content-based application. I don't know, like yeah, some sort of very very heavy content application, and also that you want to index some of that information, right? You don't want to write a single page application for a blog because you'll need to. What if you want to index out some of the pages, right?
I see.
So
Okay.
people can access them directly and can see, can have all the information and whatever.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, I think that's a real benefit of using these kind of tools. But if in case that you just want to do like a simple application, I don't think this is necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's really cool. I mean, I would use this for the secret website, for example, or something like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
this, I think it's the same way as we thought about Nux or Grits.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Dope. So what I was thinking, I just thought maybe what we could try and do is, we talked about in the last, we talked about interesting use cases for the registry, the contract registry, and a contract client registry, I guess we would call it. And
Yep.
what I thought would be a good thing for that is that we currently have like 11 tokens that we know we want the user to be able to see their balance of, right? And anytime you access a certain auction, you would definitely want to see your balance of both of those, and possibly click like, max or 10% or all that stuff, that people sort of seem to do. So maybe
Okay.
we could attack that and just sort of having like a little wallet icon at in the header. If you click, it'll show that your balance of all your different SNP 20s.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you don't have a viewing key, it would prompt you to create one. Let's say.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know if Kepler lets us create our own viewing keys yet, but
I think it was a secret auction spell, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to try and use the new features of Griptape. So
Oh, tell me about them. So wait, you're upgrading to Griptape 9 point something or something?
yeah, wait, what? No.
Oh, I thought you said that David released. Oh yeah. Maybe I should announce that on Discord.
Yeah, I think I was going to announce it
During office hours?
until I have the docs updated.
Oh, okay. Cool. So what did he do?
So basically, there was a hack that I did when I was developing Griptape,
Mm-hmm.
in which and this only happens on the event handlers, all the event handlers or the
Mm-hmm.
functions are prefixed with on, like on account available and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that when you do that, when you call the on account available and put a function inside of it, what happens is that you need to that callback gets registered, right? So every time that event happens, it will Griptape will emit that event, and that callback will be called.
Okay.
The problem with that is that if the component, let's say that you have like a dynamic component, that means that maybe the component has a BIF directive. Let's say that we're doing a view app, and it has a BIF directive, and is conditionally rendered based on the BIF. So if the component gets destroyed, or that means that the BIF predicate resolves to false, then the component will be unmounted and destroyed. And if you call again the component, or you re-show the component, that will happen to another callback gets registered to the on account available. So now you have two callbacks, because the callback that was previously registered wasn't removed. Even if the component was removed, the callback stayed.
Okay, got it.
So the problem is that if you remove or show many times a component, or mount a component many times, you'll end up with a memory leak.
Okay. Got it.
So, but obviously that requires changes in the API. But okay. So what we need to do is to show all the tokens, right?
Mm-hmm. But so why would doing that change anything about the docs?
What?
For Griptape 9, you said you didn't want to announce it until you made a change to the docs.
Yep.
I was just wondering if all Griptape 9 is an internal change to the way we handle the
No, because it changes the API.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for example, on account available, let's say, you will need to, there is now it returns a function that you can stop listening to that event, and you can call that function when the component gets unmounted. So in that way, you can when you destroy the component, you clean up that callback and everything. There's no memory leak.
Got it. Perfect. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So yeah, we want to show all the tokens, and then even, dare I say, have the ability to let people add custom tokens.
Okay. So, let's see if do we want to have like some sort of JSON with all the tokens and their images also?
I think so, right? I mean, I'm trying. So this gets into like very like high level or foundational architectural decisions, right? How does Secret Swap do that?
I think they have an endpoint.
Database.
But database, and they combined that with JSONs in the app itself.
Okay, so they're not querying to get that. We have to have a place where we're storing, where it's persistent. Essentially the environment variables, which are the tokens themselves, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is interesting. Like, what's an elegant way to do this? Right now in the contracts, for instance, can you go to contracts and you do auction factory?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so right now you're plugging the auction factory ID right into there.
Yeah.
Uh, in a larger app, wouldn't we want to have that be an environment variable?
Yep, that's correct. Uh, yeah, we
And if we're going to do that, then we're essentially now we're moving addresses to a different file, and that file will have all the different addresses that allows us to make those changes to it. And we can make changes if anything changes. And testnet especially, because things are just new people are secret might be a different one or something, whatever. So I think
yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I think an end file will be enough. I don't know how to define in Svelte environment variables.
Like we could have a JSON file that would be fine, and maybe the environment
Oh, okay.
variable just points to the name of the JSON file. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense also. Yep. So let's do a JSON file here.
Yeah,
Then.
cool. So what do we want to be in? I think we should keep these pretty. If we have we should probably have a folder, and that folder should have. There should be like a lib folder or something like that. Is that the right thing
Uh,
to put it in? But where we would have, so right now we know we want to have like a tokens.json, essentially, right? This is not just it's
yes.
not just addresses. Tokens have all sorts of information that we want to store and we don't want to be querying for. They have an address, they have an image, yeah, etc.
Yeah, but I think that should be how to say it. Uh, hold on a second. Okay. So, um, uh, so the only issue I see is that if we create like a tokens.json, we
Mm-hmm.
need to create that under the source file.
Mm-hmm.
And that would mean that, well, well, I think that makes sense. Um,
That's what I was thinking. You'd have like a lib or something.
yeah, maybe a lib or a config, maybe, or not config. Data, resources, assets.
Assets, I always think of being things like static assets, like the images themselves. But
Mhm.
maybe data makes sense.
Yeah, I think data makes sense.
Yeah,
Now I want to create a tokens.json file then,
yeah,
and
okay.
then I want to create, I think it will be an array. Each array will contain a symbol for the token
When you're
and
when you're developing,
address.
this is a really basic question though. Like, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
better to have a massive object and then have some sort of an ID being the thing, and then it's easier to get find, or is it just as easy, just like from a performance standpoint, like what like say having the address pointing to a token object? That doesn't seem like a good way of doing it though. Maybe.
No, actually, well, a map is more performant than an array if you want to search for things.
Okay.
Because it's constant. The time is constant for, let's say that you have three elements here, right? Um, or four elements or n numbers of elements.
Mm-hmm.
And the element you're looking for is far at the end of the array.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take more time to go through all the elements to find the element that you want rather than to by key find the element that you want. So this is something that is called, there's a notation, a mathematical notation that computer science scientists use, which is the O notation, the
Oh.
big O notation. Yeah.
Okay.
and you say, okay, the big O notation is a function, and if you say that is n, that means that it's a constant time, and this looking for a element on an array will take and square, for example. If you write it like that, right? Or n, I don't know what should be. I think it is just log n, I think, or I don't know what exactly is the function that describes the time that you need to actually find an element on an array. This will be constant because it doesn't matter where the element is on this data structure. You will get it because you need just to pass the key of the map. There'll be constant time. Well, and obviously it depends of the underlying implementation.
Yeah. Well, for instance, we know that the label is by definition. These are SNP20s are contracts on the blockchain, and we know the label is going to be unique by definition. So using that as the key might be the right way to go.
I think the address. What do you think?
That's also unique, yeah.
So the address, for example, let's go to...
Well, let me ask you this, though, Luis. What's more performant, doing a find on an array, or if we used the address as the key, but we didn't have the address, and inside it was something that we wanted to search it through? Is it faster to go through an array or search an object?
Well, the object, you will need to convert the object to an array in order to search for anything inside of the array. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you have an array,
like you're gonna put the address there, right?
Yeah. Let me just create like something.
Oh, okay, so cool.
The address will be here, right? Mm-hmm. And then here, let's say that you have the symbol. Right?
Yeah, symbol, name. Yeah, label.
So label. Well, the symbol, I think, and the name is...
The label for this is secret_scrt, I think. I don't think we're seeing it. Just type do it in the CLI. Like do the contract, secret CLI query contract, and then type in that address. I might have to change the docs. I think I might have it wrong.
Secret CLI query compute query
contract. You just do contract, and then type that in. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. The label is secret. Okay, cool. Great. That was wrong.
Label is secret. Symbol is secret.
Yeah.
So let's say that this is an object, right? But you don't have the.
Yeah, but let's say all I have is the labels, and that's five, and there are 500 of those.
Yeah. So the way that you define by the address is like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way to find an element, well, the way to find something by any...
Oh, no, sorry, it's not like that. It's token dot address, right? Oh, well, yeah, but you have to do a dot, or no?
No, you don't need to do a dot because the property itself is the name of the property itself is the contract address. So you'll need to, this will return the symbol label object. So that will return this object.
You wouldn't do token dot and then secret 18v8fpw?
Oh, well, you can do that too, but...
Oh, okay. It's the same thing. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Then if you want to look for, if you have the symbols, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll need to do a, well, there's a few options. So you'll need to do a for loop in which you say, okay,
Oh, okay.
for
Yeah, got it. Okay, so that's
blah 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 in token.
yeah,
Well, this will be the key, right?
yeah,
So then you do for, uh, well, the token key, and then you start. You might need to do an if there, right? To look for the
yeah.
elemental
Okay,
one.
yeah. It's more difficult. It's more of a pain in the ass than if it was okay. So it seems like there's value in doing an array if you don't know if you think you're going to be if you're not sure what you're gonna have access to. Let's say.
Yeah, or maybe you can convert, if we have an array of elements, then we can convert that array to this structure very easily. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah.
So, do we go for an array or do we go for a
Something now something is jogging my memory, saying that in JavaScript actually even objects are actually arrays, but maybe I'm making that up. I know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just do it like that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because
I like this one.
well, okay, wait a second.
I'll use it.
Yeah, but let's just think about this, because let's think about what the application is, right? Because the application is specific. What does the object that we get back look like when you get the auction factory and you do a list all your my auctions or list active auctions, right? You don't get the address of the tokens. I think what you get is the symbol, a pair. The only thing you can find out from that's the address of the auction. But if you wanted to quickly get it, right, the fastest way would be to get it from the pair.
So you'll need to parse the pair.
Yeah.
Remove this and get.
Yeah, you would do you would split it by right.
Yeah, you'll split it by the symbol.
Yeah, and then do 0 and 1.
Dash.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but the problem is that, I mean, it's not a problem, but he's using something. I mean, Baedrick built this a long time ago, and but I think that is the symbol. If that's the case, symbols do not have to be unique. Right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Which means that you could have more than one secret and not know, and you could get the wrong one.
Yeah. On the other hand,
I would change the contract if I was to do it again. I would have changed the contract where it would return labels or something. But I don't know. Whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can always query the auction, but then you're adding it. What I'm thinking of is we have 10,000 auctions, that we need to render. That's what I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's a good point. I think it's important to see exactly what you are working with, how's the data structure that you are working with looks like. So based on this, we can make a decision then. Well, you have a good point. In this case, we can use a pair, but it's not completely right, It has
the challenge I have. The thing that's bothering me when I think about it is it's not right. It's 99.9% of the time going to be accurate. The one time it's not.
Yeah, it will fuck up or something.
You can't. There's nothing that's going to point out that it's not right.
Yeah, exactly. It means it doesn't cover all the use cases, all the possible edge cases.
Like what we would want to do is have some list of duplicates somewhere if we ever discover them that it checks against. That's probably the way you would. I was trying to think like what would be the way to tip it off, and the way would be to have an additional array or an additional actually just just an array of symbols in which in which there's known duplicates, and that could be like something that you report or we just maintain, you know. And so basically you only query the auction. See, what I'm thinking is from an app standpoint, you have the list page, which lists all the auctions. Maybe you could have multiple ones of those, but it's all for listing. And then you have the auction page itself. You never query the auction unless you go to the auction page. And I believe we have everything we need here to render an auction object or an auction card, let's say, without having to actually query the auction, right? We can see the minimum bid, the sell amount, blah, blah, you know, whatever. We can't see things like, we can't see anything that might be unique to the user, whoever's looking at it. So, like if we wanted to have a list that was filterable, where I could filter it by my auctions, where I'm the owner, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm remembering the original build of this as I'm saying this stuff. I'm remembering the problems where we would have a meeting and be like, well, we want to filter it so we can, and then we'd be like, oh, fuck, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I think that decision of using symbols is the thing that is causing the problem. You know, from the contract.
Yeah, we kept asking Bader to put more and more into the factory, and he kept being like, every piece of information that you give is increasing the amount of the size of the queries and slowing things down. Yeah, I remember all this now. It's so funny. For now, let's just do an array. Okay. It gives us more flexibility.
Yeah, totally. We can get this structure out of the array, so that's fine.
Well, just looping through it and creating a...
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. Does it make sense to have some sort... Well, I don't think that makes sense, but... I was thinking of having a contract that holds all SNP 20s or something like that, but that doesn't make sense really. Like register, like a general registry for SNP 20s or for any contract. I think it's a blockchain itself, but I don't know.
No, but the blockchain doesn't...
Obviously it's not a contract, but... Yeah.
There's no way to search the blockchain to say, show me all those SNP 20s. I don't think you can search... Oh, no, you actually can. Wait, this is interesting. You can do it by code, right? Like we did those...
Well, yeah, but there will be like 1,000 different SNP 20s with different codes, you know, SNP 20s.
Yeah, that's right.
Binary subloaded with different codes, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it would be like non-standard or something like that, versions, you know, or someone justify. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Having a contract, I don't know. Let's ask someone in the space. Other people would probably be like, have really strong opinions about that, like people at Secret Labs or something. So we could do that, but I kind of like it, but I don't know. Okay, well, it actually feels like an upgrade to the chain and having a chain specific or a module in which you can register certain information and then search it that way might have been an interesting thing. Okay, well, let's just do an array for now, and let's try and put as much information as we can in here.
Okay. So...
Did you see how the name came back as secret? So there is a such thing as a name, correct? if you query the token info for secret, yes, it does have a name. Okay, cool. So name is secret. Oh yeah, I listed them by name actually.
Let me see if I.
Why don't you just copy that whole thing into here? The glossary, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
Um. Shit. Now.
So after the decimal, you can do the one on the. Oh yeah, yeah. Cool. Is it just my imagination, or is it name, label, symbol, address, and decimal has one more letter in each name, in each word? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's funny. I sorted it by word length for the property label or name.
How do I? Oh.
I think you just want to you want to turn this into an array of objects.
Yeah.
Oh, how to put commas after everything? I don't know. Just do it by manually. I think quickly.
Yeah. I would. I am a pro using this shit.
Sublime.
Yeah. Well, I know the shortcuts, so that's the reason why.
That's pretty good.
That was good. Yeah. And each name we need to do that. Oh no. There we go. And
You have a trailing comma. That's okay, I guess.
I think I. Oh, I mess up. Plan B's.
Same with New Deal. All the ones with a space.
All the ones that have spaces, yeah. This is pretty straightforward to do, so doesn't matter. There we go. Yeah.
You missed. Yeah. You sent up yeah. There you go.
And machine.
This is New York as well. Oh, only works. Yeah.
New York.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. Almost first try. So. Cool. Well, here.
All right.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, so then we want to add image to that. And then do we want to just save the image as static locally? So when I asked Emil about the images, he sent me, you have those, right? I sent those to you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it has a name of. It has a symbol, but with the S, right? So we might want to remove.
Yeah. So we can use the smaller one, right? I don't see any need to have that giant folder file.
Is there any way to rename them?
There's like a.
There's a command, but it's very dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
You can fuck up your completely all your system if you do it wrong.
Really?
Once, so yeah, I did it once.
That's funny.
Yeah, I renamed all the files within the root folder, and I messed up the entire operating system. Yeah.
So it couldn't function so that you could fix it.
No, the computer just didn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I didn't know what to do.
What do you do? You can. Do those computers have like some emergency state where you can always get to? Oh yeah, it must. Like it's like you.
Yeah, exactly.
You load it from like RAM or something like that, right? So the hard drive can. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I think I'm going to remove the 100, right?
I wonder if it would be easier to rename these within VS Code. So Emil purposely didn't make them circles because we figured we would do that with CSS.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So the images are just the symbol plus extension. So
it might not be perfect though, but yeah.
Really?
Powell has an O. Everything else is the same. Just yeah. Okay.
Looks good, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we want to list the tokens, right?
Oh, so we're not even going to put those in there. Okay, that makes sense.
So
yeah, so
new component for that?
Sure. I'm just thinking like a little wallet at the top, let's say, where you can open it and see all of your tokens and all the tokens and all the balances.
Okay. So I think it's not tokens then. How do we call this component? a token drawer or something?
Billfold. It's like another
How do you
word.
spell it?
Billfold. Billfold. It's like another word for a wallet, but it's not. It's like a thing that folds your bills. Your current
Okay.
billfold.
Like that?
No, with two L. Bill.
Okay, billfold.
Like a dollar bill. Yeah.
Okay, token billfold.
Yeah. It's like a different way of saying wallet. I mean.
Okay, that's cool. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's like an old time way of saying wallet. There's some Eminem song where he says, look into your billfold for 10 ducats, because it was like a song on Ruckus Records. So he's like, open your billfold for 10 ducats and pick up this new CD that's on Ruckus. Anyway.
Got it. Okay, so then I'm going to import these tokens from data to the JSON, right?
Mhm.
And then I think it's going to be a list similar to this. Is this something that I can access like this?
Directly after importing it?
I don't think so, right? Oh, tokens. That's token.
You have to type tokens?
Oh, is any. Oh, token. Yeah, there we go.
So you can do
This
it.
is really cool. Oh, this is amazing. Lovely, lovely, lovely. This is really cool. Okay. Tokens. So let's import that here, I guess. Import token deal fold from components. Okay.
That's pretty impressive, spelt wise, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's put here
So the first thing we need to do. Oh, maybe you don't. Now you can start talking about the fact that we have a native SNP 20 contract definition.
well, I need to put it under images, but whatever. How do I think I can do this. Can I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're wondering why you don't get type completion inside of there? What is the URL it's looking for? I want to see if It did it. Is it just that your root, you're going back one, but oh right, because it's coming from the component, so you want to go back one, but try the @ symbol.
Start.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
so this. Okay. I did it wrong. I'll call it img.
Okay. So now how do you put them in circles?
But we don't have one for secret.
Yeah, you could probably rip that off of Secret Swap or any other place.
An SVG.
So open it and save it as a PNG. This is what I want the stake or die site to be. Just like any tool that we can think of, we just throw in there.
Got it.
Like the tool that you can go to read encrypted messages, you know? Or the encrypted responses.
Yeah.
See, the problem is when it converted it from an SVG, the question is like, at what size did it do it? Because now, I think if you actually open that SVG in just what is it called?
Fixator.
Oh no! I thought you could open it in like, what's the name of the fucking Mac app that you can like open for PNGs and stuff?
Really, the SVG is really tiny. Take a look.
But like an SVG isn't supposed to be a size, is it? It's vector, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Vectorized, so it doesn't have size.
But maybe the vector is telling it a. That's why.
It has
a
base. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just make that 100, and then exchange and then do the.
Okay. No. Yeah.
Did you save it? Yeah, it's better. So. Okay. That's interesting. We're probably gonna want to make it a little smaller, but that's fine.
Yeah, one of smaller. So I wonder. This is.
It's scoped by default.
Scope, but
you don't have to. do.
Can I do this? I can, right? Yeah, I need to
You
install
just need
it.
to, yeah, just yarn add or whatever.
Let's do CSS for now then. So with let's do 60.
Sure. Well, no, I mean the problem is that the other ones have room around. So like that B and that like where the actual logo is, is gonna be centered within a circle. Oh, I guess it worked. Yeah.
Fine, right?
Make the background gray. No, that worked.
Yeah, that worked. I think it's like very tiny, like 30 pixels.
Sure. Do you want to make the background gray so we can see? So I think we also probably of the whole page.
Oh, the whole page again.
So we can see the white ones. Yeah. So you're not going to use like some like CSS library where it makes it so that on the main thing you type in the CSS directly into that, like in line but not really.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, all I was thinking is that you might want to put like a. Well, no, I think we're good. This is great. This is great.
Yeah, let me just flex and then justified content should be base actually. Oh. I don't think so.
What's that? What were you doing?
I was just trying to make some spacing for this, but
Oh.
I think if I use grid for the LI and then for UL. No, sorry. How do I? Oh, I don't want to do this really. Oh, there we go. There. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe Just give it a tiny space on the left. Space between or whatever. Or... yeah, it's justify. Yeah, content space around or something. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Because it doesn't have like a Mac. Yeah, I was doing this before, so.
Max width, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's probably space around is what you want to do. In fact, it's probably not that either. It's probably it's just a fucking margin.
Yeah. So li span.
You just do the image and put a margin right.
Oh well, yeah, all right. Margin right.
Or give it padding or yeah, something. There you go. Perfect. Like it.
Yep. We also need to use a better font, but for now this is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do we need to do?
So then we need to query all of your balances.
All the balances, okay. So I'm gonna do that on the token billfold. And let's try and do the following. So the first thing should be we need to create dynamically all the
He didn't change that name, or he didn't add that name. Oh, cool.
Interesting. Oh, whatever. I'm gonna use a create country. Now,
Luis, at this point, well, I don't know. What you're gonna do, right, is gonna basically create 11 token snip20 definitions that will be saved in clients. You'll have 11 clients stored in the registry, and then we'll access them to get the balance, right? Would it not make more sense to have one in the registry where you just switch out the address?
well, you can do that.
I just mean in terms of like, well, yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, you can do that, for sure. But the way that the snip 20, the snip,
like it's almost like using an empty, if you will, like having a definition where where you don't put the @ and it requires that every time you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about a feature of Griptape, adding a feature to Griptape. Or maybe it's not necessary.
So now we want to call, after that, we want to,
Like, Luis, you know...
balance.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we'll do this first, yeah.
So the next thing is tokens, map, right?
Oh, it's an array. Can you map array? Yeah.
Yeah, so this will, what I want to return is all the promises for the, okay, so I need to do the following. So const
So when you do get balance, it's going to query all of them?
ref, contract. Contract. Dot address, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then contract get balance. The only way to do this is if you have a viewing key already. So how do we do this? We need to
Check to see if you have a viewing key. If you don't do it, right?
yeah. So if viewing key manager get contract add no. Filter. Token dot viewing key manager dot get token dot address. So you have a viewing key, then this is not synced. Return to get balance.
You have to do a wait get balance, right? Oh, you don't want to wait because you're returning a promise?
Promise. This one. Promises. But wait for this. And responses.
So it runs it asynchronously and just waits until once you've gotten all the responses? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So that way you're not waiting for the response for it to move to the next one?
Yeah, I don't need to.
That's pretty badass, Luis. So
yeah.
Can we look at the network?
Obviously right now I'm not.
Right.
Because I don't have any viewing keys.
Right, but the thing you want to do is for anyone where you don't have a balance now, you want to put get viewing key button. Is that a part of Griptape, like a native thing?
Yeah, for sure. I just need to put like a button here that does that.
Cool.
Create viewing key. Right now I'm just going to click and function create viewing key and I think this is also sync. I need a reference also to the contract, and then I need to for linking contract. And that's it.
Can I see something?
Yeah.
So I noticed an annoying UI thing is where Kepler has the viewing key, but the application still says you need to get or create a viewing key. If you click it, if it has it, it grabs it and then gives you the balance. Wouldn't it be better to go to check Kepler for to see what SNP20s it has? I don't think it lets you just check to see what it has, but we know which tokens we're looking for at this point, so we could check all those tokens to see if Kepler has them. Grab the viewing keys to start out with, and then as soon as it connects, you would get all the balances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can do that.
It's like we need like a check Kepler or something, where you pass in.
Actually, I think this does that.
It does?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well then, what about, what's your Kepler? Let's see, do you have any of these in it?
Oh no, I think it doesn't do that. I should have Birdhouse and Secret Secret.
Should it do that?
Yeah, so...
It should, so. Shouldn't it?
Yeah.
What is it doing if it's not doing that, now that I think about it?
It's getting it from the Griptape viewing keys object.
Griptape hasn't yet asked Kepler. Because we need to...
I mean this one. Well,
yeah,
the
I know. Yeah. But what? Yeah.
Yep. But how did I solve this in? How did I solve this in duplex? Now I'm confused because I did it on duplex. What was the component? There was a component called balance something. Balance displayer, this one. Get viewing keys, okay. Oh, I used the Kepler API directly.
That's an update we need to make then, right? Should be part of the. It should be part of the account provider.
Yep.
So can you just show me the account provider? Like just because you do have a thing to get that does that in the account provider because it has the get viewing key, right?
Well, yeah. It. Do you mean this method? What it does?
No. What I mean is that so it's not going to find it. Then you're going to do a create viewing key. When you do create viewing key, it's going to check Kepler before it has Kepler because it's going to suggest token, right?
Yeah. I mean, for this one, it doesn't do that, because it already has that viewing key on Kepler.
Yeah, I know. How does it know that? How does it grab that viewing key right there? When you clicked that, how did it get it?
From the Kepler API.
In Griptape, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
This
I'm
is
asking. That's why I'm asking. I want to see that part in Griptape. That API, that Kepler API. What part of the Kepler API is it using? What I'm curious about. Because if it's using the part that says get snip 20 viewing key just like that,
yeah.
then
It's
then
using this.
yeah, then it just needs to also use that when you do get, if it doesn't find it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so the same goes to this one, right? So if I refresh, I should have uh, two viewing keys. Wait. Uh, get balances. Get Kepler. Taking the address. Oh wait, get ID or address. Okay. Oh, I do have two promises. Mm, then what?
This is a Svelte thing. I'm almost positive. I think you need to do in that const contract. Wait, how are you outputting them? The balances, Luis, in Svelte, like in your
No,
template.
I haven't. Oh no, that's not correct.
Oh, you're just expecting the create viewing key shouldn't show up, right?
No. Hmm, wait, wait a second. So this is an array of promises. Which is fine. Um, hold on a second. Promise all fail reject. Okay. So this makes sense. The thing that doesn't make sense is this response. The responses, because what I'm seeing here is an empty array. Um,
Well,
why
has
is
it been
that?
fulfilled yet? At that point, you just have to wait a little.
Uh, so promises. Okay. So it only happens when I first init. Okay. Oh, that made totally sense. On account available.
We haven't connected yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
I tried to do it before Kepler was.
yeah, exactly. That won't work. That will never work. Obviously, I need to do. This is a good time to use the other API, but I'm gonna wait for that a little. Yep. So now I have that. I can log out the responses. There we go.
Okay.
Then balances is equals to, or result is equal to responses. The map, well, that filter if result item status is equals to fulfilled. And what else? The
You
map.
can do you can do that outside that await.
Value. Why doesn't come on, guys, it has a value. Um, oh, I don't know why I need to do that, but solve. And there we go. Balance. And now the only problem here is that I don't know which balance is for which one, right? So,
You need to get your token. You have the token at that point. It's doing token address, right? Then you map the token, and you get your contract, right? Your contract definition should have.
well, one way of doing it is by providing more information here. So rather than just returning this,
Right, you do like you make like you do like yeah.
you do
Token dot.
Maybe token dot or address, token dot address, and then promise like that. But now
Then you do
this is not promises. These are I don't know what how to call that, but whatever it is now promises is map promise. Promise, and now promises is promises. It should work, right?
Yeah, but your result you wouldn't want to map that. No, you want to instead you're down there result. You would want to do not responses dot filter, but instead you would want to do promises or temp dot filter, right?
Oh. Well, we do have the address here. So temp. But
Yeah, how do you know which one it is?
Yeah. At the end, you don't have enough information when you run the promise.
See, I think what you should just do is say, okay, are these promises settled? Once they're settled, you don't care which ones they fulfilled or not, right? Why do you have to filter by that? At that point, they've already been settled, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, well, it's just an extra.
Why don't you just do a callback on that all settled or something?
Well, this doesn't make really much sense, you know. I think that the thing that we need to do is once you have the balances, then map them to the tokens that you have. And the tokens that you have are the tokens that are valid. So valid or tokens that have viewing keys. I'm going to call it valid tokens, which is this piece of code, right? So these are the tokens that you can actually create the balance for.
Okay.
So valid tokens is you do a map there, right? And then those valid tokens, then you can they're going to be two, and the all settle the way it's pronounced. I don't know. This thing will return the responses in order. That means it will be the same order as I submitted the promises, and the order was the same way as the tokens, as the valid tokens are. So that
It is in the
means that
same. It is in the same order.
it is the same order.
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
So that means that when I can create another object, right? Another array.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is not result. These are like some sort of balances. So I
Mm-hmm.
can create now a result object that, based on the valid tokens, map, and then I need the
Like a
item
counter,
and
and
the
then
index, and then I can then create a new object.
right.
Can return a new object that has the
Balance and then dot, or balance and then
name. Yeah, what do I get from valid tokens? Oh, the token itself, the symbol. Well, this is symbol and balance, which in this case will be balances of
yeah.
index
Yeah.
dot balance.
Okay, cool.
Console.log results. There we go. And if I see the result, well, that balance, that balance. And yep, that's it.
Okay.
And is it correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Even though Kepler is showing it in the wrong. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, Kepler, I don't know what it's doing, but yeah.
Okay.
So now we can take, we can do, I don't need this, let balances, I guess, or no, token balances,
Mm-hmm.
or this could be an object actually, and this has a symbol and this. Yeah. So, yeah. Check and balances. So this is returning a. I don't want to do another result thing, but because I want to convert them to a map.
Why don't you do that before you return it?
I'm gonna do it the old way. So result and then for I 0 I is less than valid tokens dot length plus plus, and then
instead of index, you do I.
I, and result symbol, and symbol is equals to what? Valid tokens I symbol symbol balance. So that should return. Yep.
Oh, I see what you're. Yeah.
And then finally, I token balances equals to result, right?
Yeah.
And then here balance. Oh. Token balances token dot symbol. All right. Well, we don't want to be undefined, but it's not the best thing, but it'll work. Sort of.
No, you should, instead of doing that undefined, you should do put the button there. Right?
Right. Yeah. How do I do the if?
Yeah, there must be a control flow thing for Svelte. Yeah.
So you close it. Okay. Yeah. So if token balances token dot symbol, and then I show the balance. Otherwise, I show the button.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All this might be. Whoops. What?
Oh, make it reactive.
Either I call. So we have two options. First, I call get balances after create viewing key.
Well, is get balances, and it's going to refresh all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Show me your network when you do that.
Yeah, we'll query all of them.
So do another one. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. That's not the best. So let me go back to where you're going through and getting all the balances. I think that get all balances is something that runs on only once. It runs on,
Yeah, on this when you start the application. When you start
yeah,
when you
on
run the
mount.
application, but
So we need to do the ref contract again.
Yeah, we can abstract or get just a piece for one.
Yeah. Just that part right there. The ref contract, right? Token address, get balance. Just that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
On the one you've just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that whole map thing, right? Because it's not about, it's just that bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's this bit. And add that to the token balances, I think.
Yes, and when you do that, you're gonna have to do it. All you have to do is change result, Luis, and then just put that $sign ahead of it, ahead of it, right? No, never mind.
How do I know that? Well, I think I need to pass all the token here. Well, just for simplicity, I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
It's not the best way, but just to make it work right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
I don't know if this is going to work actually. So let's see.
Well, I think it's already recalling all of them. No.
No.
Yeah, it worked.
One. Cool.
Nice. And then refresh, and they should all come up, right? Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
All
hey
right.
guys, everyone joined right when we were at the end, but maybe we could just do an overview or just refresh what we did in here, Luis?
Do you mean
just
code?
Describe what we did? Yeah, you don't have to read. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So basically, we created another component that has, well, first of all, we define all the different tokens that you can use in the.
Yeah, we decided to add a data folder and put a tokens JSON array with all the different tokens, and we did this because this might come from a database or something else like that, but it's not the kind of thing you want to be like querying the blockchain for or something like that. Anyway, and so then we have all the images that we brought in that we'll make those available to everyone for the hackathon, and then created a token billfold component.
Yeah, that.
What was the really cool thing you did, Luis, where you could, like, with Svelte, where you could just import it and then use it directly? You remember that?
This one? This? Or
No. I think it was in the token billfold. So you imported tokens.
Oh yeah.
And so
this thing that.
And then you can just use it directly in the
template.
In the template, which was pretty impressive to us. Again, we're doing this to sort of try out Svelte, but I mean, frankly, nothing like doing this and working on this. I think everything we've been checking has been pure JavaScript stuff about promises. right? That we've had to go to documentation, or control flow within the control flow syntax, idiosyncratic templating stuff that is specific to Svelte. But everything else just feels natural, like we're just writing JavaScript, right? And, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, guys, we looped through. We start when on mount, we're looping through all the tokens, and then we're using the contract registry to on mount we're creating the dynamically creating the contract definitions for every snip 20. Luis, can you back to the code really quickly? One interesting thing that we haven't talked about in the Vue or React class is that there are built-in contract definitions that you get with Griptape by default. And so there's a snip 20 and a snip 721. Luis, where is that being done? Right there in the ref contract. Yeah. So, in the create contract. So in that init snip 20 contracts function, right, we're doing tokens dot for each token and then create contract. So this is the create contract method that you've seen before. In the past, we had made our own definition that we passed in the definition, but here we can just pass in snip20 def, which he's just importing directly from Griptape. And so that gives you all of the so after he's done that, he can just do get balance, but he could also do transfer, send, or any of the other methods or messages or queries. It's all pre-written for you, so you don't have to worry about that contract definition, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we went through and we did some asynchronous magic here so that we could query them all at once and not wait for each one to come back first. And then we get all the balances and and then just rendered them, and we kind of had to look into the fact that promises get settled, but they're kept in the same order in which you in the promise in which the promises array has them. So anyway.
I started to like Svelte.
You're starting to like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice. Very cool. And those are getting added to Kepler, correct, as you're doing that? Oh yeah, what's that function? That's another Griptape function. Can you show that? The add token?
Yeah, it's the viewing key manager.
Okay.
.add.
Yeah, so Kepler viewing key manager is also imported from Griptape, and then you're just doing .add, and then passing the contract in. So
Looks really good.
Hey.
How does the hi? I just dropped in.
Yeah, no problem.
2 minutes ago. I'm more familiar with like ETH contracts, but I do know like Secret has a bunch of viewing keys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a manager for all of that. When you reference a contract, like, do you have to provide the viewing key with it?
When you're querying it, you mean?
Yeah, when you're querying it, yeah.
Yeah, so traditionally, like Luis, you want to show how you would do it in the CLI? So say we were trying to get the snip20 balance in the CLI. You would do secret CLI, query, compute, query, and then you pass in a JSON object, and the JSON object is going to be start out by saying get balance, or I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, so that's the secret that he put in, the address for it, and now he's going to do balance, and then you have to pass in your address, I believe, so that your wallet address, and then a viewing key.
Okay.
Okay, so you do key and then you pass it in. Okay. with Griptape, what we do is we abstract that away. So basically, we have a viewing key manager that stores them all in local storage. And oh yeah, okay, cool.
So it's a mapping store, so you can just add it to the store and then it would retrieve it for you, or you add it to, is it like a property underneath the contracts?
In the contracts, you're talking about, like in the Rust code for the actual contract. It is. What is it, Luis? Is it something that's native to the chain?
Well, do you mean if?
So like for the viewing key, is it like dots? You created there's an interface, right? So you can add the contract address. Do you just do dot add the viewing key with the framework, the Griptape?
Oh yeah. I see what you're asking.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I understood. So, yeah, there's a Kepler viewing key manager that if you don't need to create the viewing key. The process of creating the viewing key is through the contract itself, but Kepler helps you to do that. So, for instance, if I go here and I remove any of, let's say I remove secret. I don't have secret in my tokens. So if I go to the application, wait, what?
It's you stored it in your
So
You probably have to delete the cache.
Yep. There we go.
But I think
obviously, not all of them are going to show because I removed them from the local search. But if I click show balance, you'll see that Kepler has an interface to add the token. And you can either put the viewing key, if you already have a viewing key for that contract, you can just set that here, or you can actually run a transaction on the contract. And what I mean by a contract is a secret contract to create a viewing key and use that viewing key
Yeah, so
create it and retrieve it, basically. So
I think what he's asking is when you do the get balance in our code, you're not passing the viewing key in any place in our code. No, So where are you doing the get balance? Yeah, there, contract.getBalance.
Here.
Yeah. We're not passing a viewing key at this point. And there's a reason for that. So Luis, you can explain that.
Yeah, the reason for that is because in a contract definition, so I'm going back to maybe this one. So let's say that your query requires a
I think there's like a list my options, I think.
Let's do the get balance because it's the same example,
okay.
right? It's the same thing. So balance, remember that we needed the address and the other, the key, right? The same way that we did it here. So address and key. So you can either as arguments pass them, and let's say that you have address here and key. You just pass them here,
right?
Which if we went back, you would have done get balance, then address comma viewing key, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. If you do this, you will need to then here provide the address and the viewing key. Somehow you'll need to get them and provide them. But Griptape has as a first parameter of any query or message, so this applies for both queries and messages, we provide something called a context. So So the context is really just a simple object that has information that you might require on your queries or your messages. It's like general information, and you can see the whole all the things that it has here. Has an address, a key, padding, height, entropy, permit. So it has information of different domains, but that is necessary for some queries. So from the context, then you can get the address and your viewing key, if any, for the contract that you're creating. So if this contract has already a viewing key created for your account, then you can get that through here. So you don't need actually to pass any arguments to this function, because the context provide that to you, and you'll end up with something like this.
Yeah, so this is a big thing that with when we were writing Griptape, when we were coding our original, you realize very quickly as you're building an application is that you have to deal with viewing keys. And if you're doing an application like an auction or the swap of some sort, you're dealing with a ton of viewing keys, right? Because it's all your different tokens. And so you end up having to write some sort of code to be able to manage all of those. And then every time you want to call it, you have to find that somehow. So usually it would be like in a store, we would have done it in like Vuex or something like that, and then stored that Vuex in local storage so it persisted. It was just a huge pain in the ass. And so we building this and making it native to Griptape was like a big part of what makes working with Griptape a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes actually a lot of sense. So the context, I guess the context manager is then managed by Griptape itself. So it understands what contracts you're working with, I guess, because you're calling it within the context of a contract. Does it actually work with? Okay.
Yeah.
The context itself, let's say, is in the context in terms of the contract that you are interacting with, and some other stuff that might be helpful to you.
Well, like where do you get the context information? Some of it is we get from the account provider, right? So once you connect to Kepler, then we have the address, and the address refers to your wallet address, right? And so what's cool about that is if you go and you switch your Kepler account, the context will switch, right? Because that's part of the address provider. That's like what that API does. And then the key is stored in local storage in an object where the keys are stored along with the contract that you have the viewing key for. And so then the context changes depending on what contract address you pass in when you do when you instantiate the client when you create the contract client. You have to pass it an address. And so the context knows that address that you passed it, and it's able to get the viewing key from that. Yeah, where you created it, Luis.
Okay, that actually makes it actually much better, because it's more like the other public blockchains where you don't really have to worry about if you could view the data or not view the data and other. Are there any cases where you have to be particular about whether something is, for instance, if you can interact with something that's private? So these are more for as secret contracts, right? Secret versus just the native secret token.
Yeah, the native secret token is like the same as any other Tendermint Cosmos blockchain token. And actually interacting and getting that balance is done through the bank module. It's not done through the compute module. So that's not all that important, but it's public. There's an auditable record, just like there is in any public blockchain. The thing that Secret Network talks about a lot is this idea of programmable privacy. And what that means is that the contract developer gets to choose what level of what's available and how it's available. And so it's very important when you're creating a contract definition that you need to know what each query requires. And so you would get that from the contract schema, or the developer themselves would tell you, or whatever it is, or you just play around with the CLI and read the errors it's giving you until you realize that you need a viewing key. But like a good example of this where it could be highly variable dependent on what you're interacting with is a SNP 721 contract. Because a SNP 721 contract has public and private metadata. And so to access the public metadata, you don't need a viewing key. To access the private metadata, you do. What that specific SNP 721 that you're interacting with, what the owner or the developer decided to make private or public, is going to be dependent on whatever that is. So someone in one, it could be like, I don't know, the image could be private in one and public in another, for instance. You would only know that by knowing what contract you're interacting with. Am I answering or getting close to what you're asking?
Yeah. I think you did touch, because I am more familiar with the Ethereum smart contracts than the smart contract like the privacy programmability aspect of things. So I think that's the biggest change. I'm doing I've been looking at Secret for a while now, and I really like it. But how the privacy is ensured and how it works is still kind of an unknown to me.
Got it. Yeah. When you're developing the contract, I believe you just, Luis, do you know this? When you put something into state, do you just say it's private or it's not private?
No. The way that works is at the query definition. So when you define a function that is going to query the state, you define if that query requires or don't require a viewing key, and based on that, you can dynamically, let's say, if the viewing key is valid, which I'm not familiar of how that validation happens, but if the viewing key is valid, then you can there's some sort of mechanism that you can use to conditionally select which information you are going to retrieve. It's essentially like, okay, if I have the viewing key, then I'm gonna just return this piece of data. If I don't, I won't. And that's it.
Yeah. So, but what you said is really important here. So, in the contract state, all data is private. So all data is encrypted. Basically, you send in information. The contract state is encrypted. The information, the parameters and stuff you send in, go onto the validators, get passed into the enclave, everything's in an encrypted state. Within the enclave, it gets all decrypted so that it's all readable, and can then can then send messages and stuff, basically decrypt stuff and send stuff out of the enclave in whatever state it wants, the contract. And so when you define what you're going to query, you just say, do you need a viewing key or not? If you don't need a viewing key, then you've essentially made that information public, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, actually. So everything is default private, and then all you have to do is just give the permissions of how much the viewing key can decrypt the data.
Yeah, some things you'll just say, like, if you want it to be so someone wants to be able to get some balance or something like that, or wants to get something that isn't private, then the contract developer would just write that query and just not say you just don't need a viewing key, right? And then it would just be anyone could query it.
Okay, and so a view key would be for every individual function or every individual state parameter, or are there like
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to the. Can you go to the auctions factory contract, Luis? Or
Dude,
Yeah,
you mean
looking at one of the definitions or to this contracts would actually be
yeah,
helpful.
Luis, could you do that? Could you do that like force an error on the query so that you see all the different? We can see all the different queries that you can do for the factory. This is a trick, by the way. If you just pass the wrong information or a query that doesn't exist, it'll tell you the queries that you can make. So you see it's expecting either list my auctions, list active auctions, list closed auctions, and is key valid. I just know this because I've worked with the contract. List my auctions requires a viewing key. List active auctions and list closed auctions does not. I don't really know what is key valid is really used for. I'm not really sure. I haven't played around with that. But so if he tries to do list my auctions and passes his address, it'll error and tell him you need a viewing key.
Okay. And the secret command line, is that or is that part of the like a secret developers?
Yeah. So
Tool?
so you should definitely add this to the CLI. We have instructions on how to install it in the docs.
yeah.
Every blockchain on Cosmos has a CLI that are all the same. It's all in the Cosmos SDK. And so you want to add a CLI for any chain. So I was just messing around with Juno, and it's like Juno CLI. I think the Atom is Gaia CLI. There's a Terra CLI, right? Everyone has that same thing, and then they all have the same format where you, so yeah, it's really important. We're playing around with Griptape of adding either in the developer console, like adding a plugin to that, or having each each contract definition generate a page that you can go to interact with all the different methods and messages and queries, so you can test it out. But right now that doesn't exist, and so really you need to use the CLI to be productive. Yeah.
Okay,
So when Luis did that query, it said, okay, we need he did list my auctions. It said we need an address. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't, but
Can you back to the CLI, Luis? Yeah. Okay. Here. So the error he got here is missing field address. See.
right.
And so now if he adds the address, so if you do list my auction and then puts address, and then runs it, it has a missing field viewing key. Okay.
Right.
And so when he puts that in, he's not going to have a viewing key, or he doesn't know his viewing key right now. He probably needs to generate one in order to be able to do this. Yeah, wrong viewing key for this address, or viewing key not set.
That's cool, actually. That is actually really cool. So for testing purposes, you could obviously do everything manually by just using the secret command line tool.
Yeah, and like you saw, we just figured out the structure of that. This is a pretty simple one. Some are pretty big, and they require a lot. You're sending a lot of information in, so it's not as easy to sort of just like. And sometimes the error messages aren't great, so you won't know what's going on. But this one, it basically told you how to write the JSON, right? It was like list my auction. Oh, we need an address. Okay, you write the address. Oh, we need a viewing key. So yeah, it is very helpful to use the CLI.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I've never like this I've just joined the hackathon today, or yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just yeah. Are you guys actually the maintainers of Griptape?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. Yeah. No, this is totally really cool because I was always thinking it's like how would you even make smart contracts in secret network because it seems totally different than uh, all the other blockchains.
Yeah, it's the contracts themselves are written in Rust as opposed to Solidity, um, which is a big difference. But what Luis and I found, and Luis, you can confirm this, is that the most difficult part about development for a blockchain is putting yourself in the right mind space of how it works. Like really kind of wrapping your head around like the way information flows and data flows and stuff like that. And then once you get that, you can kind of start thinking in the right way, and then you can figure out how you would build a contract to do what you want to do. So like once you realize that a contract isn't self-executing, those types of things, and that's the same in Ethereum or any other blockchain. Secret has a little bit of these extra components, like we said, of viewing keys and stuff, but a lot of that stuff on the contract level is taken care of by the APIs that the team has put together. And then for Griptape, that's what we're sort of trying to do, make this as easy as possible and as similar to any other development as on the front end perspective.
Yeah, exactly on front end. Which is really really cool because I don't really want to worry about all of those viewing keys.
Yeah.
So so it's supported for all for. So I missed the one on React. So I code usually when I do UI I do React.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. You guys were just working on Svelte, or
Yeah,
I haven't
Svelte.
heard of that. Or Svelte. I haven't heard of that framework before, actually.
Yeah, so what's going on is that Luis and I, so we are Vue developers. I learned Vue first. Luis has been working with Vue for, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. He's an expert in that. He's proficient at React, and we have a team member who React is his first language. But we've been looking at Svelte from afar, thinking it's really cool, and so we've wanted to learn it. And so we're taking this hackathon as an opportunity for ourselves to play around and try and learn a new tool set or whatever. And then we thought we would just do these nightly videos where we experiment with it. And it's really cool. It's the difference between Svelte and React and Vue, or Angular for that matter, is it doesn't have... I'm going to say these words, I don't really know what they mean, but it doesn't have a virtual DOM.
Right, I saw that on the homepage.
Yeah, so it compiles instead of having like the framework hold a virtual DOM, do all this magic in the background, and then manipulate the DOM sort of independently of the code that's actually running, Svelte converts the code into native JavaScript. And then runs that, and so it's like it should be incredibly more faster, and it also allows you to sort of write things in a little bit more of like what feels like just sort of like a native. Variables are just available to you in the template in a way that seems pretty cool compared to React, for instance. Yeah,
right.
We have another video that I'm going to put on YouTube. That's last night where Luis and I were really learning it and going over it. Luis's voice wasn't working because my OBS setup was off, but you can kind of see us playing around with it. I'm going to put that up as well if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely actually. Just choosing the right framework is also, it might actually be. I actually have to test it out because I've never heard of it before. And so it does use types. So yeah, because I know TypeScript compiles everything to JavaScript, but maybe it's like some kind of optimizer that optimizes everything to the least best performance.
Yeah.
Are there
sorry.
Are there any? So you guys are I guess for this hackathon, because are there going to be, so there I saw there going to be like tutorial slash these like coding sessions
Mm-hmm.
every day or every other day. Um, is it just there's no direction whatsoever? You can just go and make whatever you, because I'm an individual, so I'll probably work alone. But you
Yeah.
can just make whatever you like.
No, so it's a little bit different. This hackathon, we're trying to, because Griptape is a front end framework. We wanted to standardize the contract so that everyone was working on the same thing, but could from that point they could build whatever they want. And so what we're building is the an auction contract. So the contract basically allows for a buyer and a seller to get matched on a price for what we call a SNP 20, which is the ERC 20 thing, but is secret network improvement proposal 20, similar to ERC 20. So currently, if you have a huge amount of secret and you want to get USD, TUSD or UST or something like that, you go to secret swap, you're gonna be in trouble. If there was someone else who wanted a ton of secret, right? This allows them to do over like OTC. So everyone's going to be building the same thing. You can see that right now in action if you go to auctions.secret.network, auctions.scrt.network. That's an application that we built. It was the first application that Luis wasn't actually on the team at that point, but me and my partner my only partner at that time built that. And here you can see. And so each one of those cards is a little auction. And if you go to it, you can then the seller sets a minimum price, and then you can place a bid, and then the auction can close and all of that. So we're basically letting everyone's going to build on top of this, and the goal is if you win, I mean there's like a 500 secret first prize, but what we're hoping is that the winner will actually then be in a position and we can help get a grant and then possibly turn this into basically rebuild this and make it into and maintain this project essentially.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm getting it. So the contract is already there for the secret auction.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how do you build the UI or the interface for that contract?
How do you?
Or not how, but more like so it's just trying to get a different UI for this auction, for this secret auction.
Yeah.
Interface.
Yeah, we built this and we're not going to maintain it because we have other stuff to do, and so it's just sitting there and it's dated looking and the code is not very good because it predates Griptape.
Right.
So we built this. My at the time, Luis and I have a third partner. At the time, he and I built this, and it's buggy and it's not going to get better, and we're not going to maintain it. So the idea is we wanted to get this thing working again, and we want to get it on Griptape, and we want other people to learn Griptape. So yeah, we're sort of putting that all together, I guess.
That's cool. So like two birds with one stone, I guess.
Yeah. I was thinking today, because a lot of people have asked about doing different stuff, maybe we should have like Luis, what do you think? Maybe we should have like an honorable mention prize for people who want to build, who don't want to work on this. I don't know though, because then you need to build a contract.
Mm-hmm. It could be another category or something. Category.
Yeah.
Or something.
Building smart contract. How would, for instance, like in Ethereum, you can create a smart contract, or you can create just a UI to view someone's holdings in different like swaps or different dexes or that kind of, like a Zapper.fi, like something like that. But I don't know if that's possible, but since every viewing key is I don't know if that is actually possible with Secret, if you could have like an aggregator of sorts.
It's definitely possible. In fact, Luis, we build a demo of Secret Swap, of a UI for Secret Swap at one point with Griptape.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't remember where that was, but yes, you could. Anyone could build a UI for Secret Swap right now, and the button guy did that. Can you go to that site? What is it? It's btn dot. Look for Buttcoin, BUTT coin. No, I think it's. You want to separate the. It's not but maybe it's but token. There it is. That's that one, the little mushroom. Yeah, let's see where the official website is for that. Button.group. Okay, cool. Yeah, this guy's cool. He builds. He's just kind of like doing his own thing. And so if you go to features and do button swap. Yeah, right there. Okay, cool. So this is an aggregator, I think, across Secret Swap and Sienna, I think. So yeah, it's possible for sure.
I think he was well. I think that's one thing, but I think he was referring more of crypto clerk.
Yeah, but Zapperfi allows you to trade with a bunch of. Am I wrong about that? It allows you to trade Uniswap and SushiSwap and.
Yeah, it also has that. I don't know if they route it through someone else maybe, but yeah, they do it. You can also trade on top of it.
Yeah, and then they connect to some dexes and stuff, and then they've come up with their own tone. Yeah, Luis, Jordan was showing us this when we were working on as like a future idea for Crypto Clerk. And then in terms of just like a portfolio management for all of Cosmos, there's Citadel 1 is like their application. They've actually done some crazy stuff where they've built their own sort of environment in which you can build applications like within their environment. Let's say it sort of reminds me of Salesforce, where like you build like their ERPs. There's like shipping software that exists within the Salesforce platform. That's what Citadel 1 is trying to do with like throughout Cosmos. So anyway, if you wanted to look at that, Citadel 1, they're like the number one validator on like on Secret Network and a few other networks as well. Yeah, I don't think you should think about anything about Secret as limiting in terms of what it can do compared to any other chain. I think that there are differences between Tendermint, Cosmos-based Tendermint blockchains, and Ethereum in terms like fundamental technological decisions that were made in terms of the difference between the Ethereum virtual machine, the way that works, compared to the way CosmWasm, the smart contract engine on Cosmos works. But Secret is really just a general purpose smart contract blockchain that adds this component of privacy on top of that, and that just means that all the state is encrypted, and you can use either viewing keys or what are called permits to control the access to that encrypted information.
Okay, yeah. Now, I'm really new in the space, so that would I do know CosmWasm is what all the Cosm SDKs or Tendermint that they use.
Yeah.
I guess is there some kind of base code or template that is maybe well to use to start off with building the auction, or is it everyone can just start from scratch?
I would say what you should do is go to docs.griptape.js.com and read through, and then there are I think what is it called, like the tricks tutorials or whatever they are, Luis.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a React and a Vue versions of each, and you can go through, and they're like it's like hello Griptape, hello contracts, whatever. And so it goes through contract definitions, and it goes through how viewing keys are managed and sort of everything else associated with that. And then I think honestly the people who are going to learn Griptape the most are just the people who are engaged and asking as many questions as possible, and we're sort of here to help, I guess. But it's very self-directed, so up to the point where we'll have office hours tomorrow for 2 hours, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to show your code, if you want to say, I can't understand this, can you explain this? Can you do this for me to see how you would solve this problem? We're going to be doing all of that for people. But we don't really have a step-by-step directions on how to get started with the actual project for the hackathon. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, I actually like that. I like more of a individualistic kind of personally trying out things, more experimenting.
Yeah. And the prizes are great, and if you really want to go all out and win, that's great. It's going to be a lot of work to try. I assume if people are going to build something that's really good, it's going to be a lot of work. I would say it would be just as valuable, if not maybe even more, if you're not really interested in that contract, to just use this hackathon period as just a period in which the maintainers of Griptape are going to be extremely active and available to work with, and then just learn as much as you can to build whatever you want, and that's a perfectly fine way of sort of approaching this whole thing, and not and just sort of just saying it's not about the prize kind of thing, if that makes sense. Cool. It's getting kind of late, so I think we're gonna drop off. We'll put this up on this session up on YouTube soon, and I don't know. I guess we'll be back tomorrow night as well, doing this. Learning Svelte and building stuff and sort of figuring out problems that will then make it easier for us to quickly solve them in the 2-hour coding sessions next week for React and Vue. Thanks everyone.
Thank you guys.
Stop
Have a good one.
Record, but